Gonna
Good to
click
see you guys
record.
all here. Looks like we've got, let's see, who have we got here today? Let me see if I can do my view of everybody. Gallery view, there it is.
Feedback.
Okay, we've got Design. Hi. We've got Ava back. Hi, Ava. We got Allie. It's so good to see you here.
Yay.
Donna Dimples is here. Noelle. Tawana. Hi, Tawana. Good to have you on. And then a couple other people whose names I don't know. But it's so awesome that you guys are joining us. We're super excited to have you on this love camp, this 3-day love camp. So Kaylin, do you want to start with some just intro stuff?
Sure. Well, I have here with me Allie, who's been in our love camp since the very beginning as our fitness coach. So she's visiting me from Australia, so I thought it'd be fun to have her on. And she's a wealth of knowledge in the arena of completely changing her diet in the last 5 years and getting her family on board. So I know so many of us struggle most with our families, and changing one's diet when the family aren't on board can be really intimidating and difficult. So she's going to shed some light on that. And Elaina, I think we're going to start with a little guided meditation if you're into that. Do you want to start with that?
I do. So just, if you're listening later to this, or if you're listening now, just wherever you are, unless you're in your car, just take a moment to just feel your feet on the earth. And you can keep your eyes open or you can close them if you want, but just feel your feet grounded on the earth. And just imagine your feet kind of rooting down into the earth and just grounding and feeling the love of Mother Earth and how she supports us and how we just tread on her every day, and she continues to grow her trees and shine her sunlight and shine the moonlight and just all of what earth entails. And we are just so grateful to be visitors on this earth and to be able to be her stewards for however long we're alive. And just imagine all the love that Mother Earth gives us every day, no matter what we do, that we always are good in her eyes, that even if we feel like we've messed up in life or we're judging ourselves, Mother Earth always just loves us, and we just get so much love from her. So I want to take you to take that love right now that you're feeling from the earth, and just imagine all the cells of your body just plumping up nice and big and juicy as they just embrace this love and just shining all this light into your body from above, from the top of your head down. Even if it's dark, just imagine the sun when it is shining, just radiating in through the top of your body and just filling your cells with love and goodness. And we know that love is what heals our body in the end, that all the love and light that comes into us is really what gives us energy and joy. And just no matter how you're feeling, if you're sleep deprived or whatever you're feeling today, it doesn't matter, because your cells love you. And the more love you give to your body, the more love it will give back to you. So just drink that in. Drink in how much love there is available for you, how much love from the earth and the sun and your loved ones around you, and just everything that you have in this life, all the comfy bed that you slept in last night, and the warm house that you're in, and the car that you get to drive, and the yummy, delicious organic food you get to eat. I mean, we are so blessed in this lifetime. So just take in that gratitude of blessings that we are actually given every day. So no matter how your day has gone so far, just decide to just reset right in this moment that you are loved, you are filled with love, and you are loved by others, and you're loved by the earth, and you're loved by us. And we're just so glad you're here. So let's just take a deep breath together in through the nose. Hold it for a minute, and then slowly let it out through the mouth. And just feel your whole body dropping in to how good that feels to be in this relaxed mode right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say too that congratulations everyone for showing up on this call today. And if you are listening later, congratulations for even getting yourself into this little teaser course that we're offering, because this is really the first step, especially as we come in the holidays, of really keeping yourself accountable and on track. And we just want you all to know that we are here for you too. And even though this is just a 3-day course, that we really want to continue this journey with you, either by you repeating this course a few times over the next month, or if we can support you in the Facebook group, or however we can. We just want to know that we're here for you, and we've been through everything that you're probably feeling and may feel over the next month or have felt in the past few years. Elaina and I both, and Allie, have experienced our own healing crises and journeys, and Elena's is more than 20 years in the making, and we all just have a lot of knowledge of the pitfalls and the things that we've messed up on and are now here to teach you how to do without messing up on it, and just everything that we have to share with you. So congratulations everyone for being here.
Yeah, we're just so excited you guys are here. And I'd like to introduce Allie. Allie, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey Elaina, I can touch you. I've got Kate. So I met Kate 5 years ago now, and then I was lucky enough to meet you, Elaina, and my life has changed. So I'm married with 2 kids. They're not kids anymore, they're teenagers. And I went from, probably like drinking too much and all that sort of thing, right through now to my family's following my lead. My husband just sent me a picture yesterday of him drinking a green smoothie after he went to CrossFit. He doesn't do exercise. So everyone's slowly catching up. I think that's probably been the hardest bit on my journey is I've gone really fast into this because I was ready, but my family have slowly come behind me, and not to be disappointed in that. And just even talking to Kate, the last 5 years, my family's changed so much. So don't give up on your family and don't be too hard on them. And the thing I had to not be hard on myself is I taught my kids to eat like that, and now I have to undo it and then reteach them. So just take time and be kind to yourself. As women, or it's just a woman or a man, like we don't give ourselves enough time and enough gratitude for what we do. And it's hard being in a family. It's hard being alone. It's hard being human. So don't hate yourself. And
I want to touch on that a little bit, because what we do in the full course, but I want to give you guys a little bit of it today, is we talk about journaling and really writing down, our experiences, how we're feeling. And you know what that does? It's more than just like having a record. It's like, how are you today? How often do people really care about what's going on with us? Like if we have a really close friend or a spouse, but some of us are single. And so if you can just check in with yourself and say, how is Elaina today? How is Caitlin today? How is Allie today? Like, how am I? And then you can just write that down. Like, well, today I woke up feeling a little bit scared because I had a nightmare, and it kind of stuck with me. And like just a few things. It only has to be a couple sentences. And it's like we're really asking that little girl inside of us, how are you? And then so she can start to talk to us. And if you're a man listening, he can start to talk to us. But, she can tell us what it is that we need. And what that does for us is it starts to really get us in touch with who we are and who we are becoming and what our true desires and wishes are. Because a lot of times stuck weight or imbalanced hormones or thyroid or anything that's going on in our body, a lot of times has to do with emotions, stuck emotions. So the best way we can start really interfacing with that and changing it is start to ask ourselves, what do I need today? Like I asked my body when I started to gain weight through menopause, like, what do you need in order to feel balanced? And it said things to me, and I wrote it down, and it said, I need connection with people every day. I need human touch and human interaction. I need love. I need walks outside. It said, I need river walks because I live near the river. Like it actually told me what it needed. I need you to stop beating me up about not being perfect. Like that was another thing it said. And like, just talk to your body like it's another person and ask it, and it'll tell you as you write. And it's really profound, because then you can start to do those things for it, and it starts to feel loved. And your body is a being, it's an entity. And our minds kind of get carried away with like how things are, and we kind of go outside of our body. And that's why meditation is so important, because it brings us back into this body system that we have, this beautiful body that gets to live on this earth. And so we take that and we like take the energy and put it back onto what's going on with you today, and how can I help you today? Oh, I need water. I need you to drink more water. Can you please hydrate me? Can you please stop for a moment and just drink? And I get those messages, and I'm busy, and I'm just like, I hear drink, and I'm like, okay, I will. They're like, no, drink now. And I'm like, okay, I'll go, I'll get it. And I'm so much better at listening now about drinking. And I woke up this morning with a headache because I had forgotten to drink last night before going to bed. So anyway, our body continues to love us and tell us what it needs. And as soon as you start to love it back, you are going to see profound, amazing changes that happen in your life. So I just wanted to say that about the body and how important it is to recognize. And you guys are doing that by being here. You're recognizing that your body needs something. Your body needs healthy food. It needs less carbohydrates. It needs you to focus on what is the optimal food for it. And one more thing I want to say before I go back to you, Kate, is that the food that we give you guys, even in this 3 days, the recipes, like that amazing superfood smoothie in the morning, that is nourishing every cell of your body. And what a lot of ketogenic programs don't do is they tell you, eat eggs, eat butter, eat all the cream you want, but they're not really focusing on the nutrition, because green, vital, superfoods like spirulina and these energizing super green foods and the spinach and the things you're throwing into your smoothie are going to nourish your cells on a cellular level. And you're getting hydrated with this smoothie in the morning as well. So this is not to be taken lightly. These 3 days are actually really designed to help rebuild and nourish your cells. And you can do that on a plant-based diet, which is amazing. And what Caitlin and I have both discovered is that for me, after 21 years of being super vegan, like I was 100% extreme vegan for the first, I would say probably 5 to 10 years off and on, that I started noticing, after I cleaned my cells out and I went vegan for a long time and I healed my body, then I could hear little whispers of my body saying, some farm raised, neighbor caught, neighbor raised eggs might be helpful to you right now. And then I would have that, and maybe that would just be once a month I would get the craving for that. Or some wild caught salmon might be healthy in a small amount for you right now. And I look at it as a condiment. So I'm saying this because we are a plant-based company and we are plant-based focused. But if you feel you need something, listen to that in your body. I want to invite you to do these 3 days completely vegan, because your body does need that time to clean out. And it could even be up to a year that you go plant-based just to heal and cleanse your body and find out where your alkalinity is and where your balance is. But then after that, you can start to listen to your own. The great thing is you don't have to wonder anymore, what does my body need? Because now you're talking to it, and now it will whisper to you, hey, I think I need a little extra something. And you know what that is. But you can get a lot of that protein from the spirulina and the green foods and the sprouts and the sprouted nuts and seeds. So I wouldn't worry about your protein at all, and I wouldn't worry about your nutrition at all as far as being on a plant-based ketogenic diet. And your body will start to speak to you, whether it is in a year or 6 months or a month from now. It might say it wants something else. So we call it flexitarian, because we're not here to tell you to be 100% vegan, but we know that plant-based foods work. So that's my little speech on that.
Absolutely. And, Elaina and I, we talked yesterday, what do we really want to focus on this call? We know that some people have been with us for 2 years and they're on this call. Some people are just joining us, have never tried plant-based. Some people have tried ketogenic and never tried the vegan version, and vice versa. So we're thinking, we have so much knowledge and so much information on nutrition and everything about food. But we also really want to focus on the emotional piece of it, because that is really sometimes the first step with women. We tear ourselves down when we feel like we ate something wrong. And, when's the last time you ate something that you knew you shouldn't have, and you listened to your thoughts and your thoughts were just beating you up? Like, I can't believe I did that. I just took myself back 3 months. Oh my God, I'm horrible. I'm this, I'm that. So I think that is also something we want to share, is during our larger course, like the one we have in January, we really focus on our self-talk and what our relationship with food, because so much of that, you are going to start craving, like the green smoothie that's in this 3-day. Maybe it doesn't taste that good right now, but if you start talking to your body, and like Elaina said, you start listening to those cues, and even just slugging it down when it's not like the most tasty, your body will start to tell you what it needs, and you'll start to choose those things over the other thing. Or maybe that'll be something that you recover yourself from. So we're just here to tell you that it isn't about perfection either, but we do invite you to maybe repeat these 3 days over the next month and see how you go with that, and know that you have us and those recipes to fall back on when you're maybe have fallen off and eaten something, or, that happens.
Yeah, and it's really about what you do 80% of the time. And remember that, because what happens a lot, and this is like a kind of a dieter's dilemma, and this is not a diet, it's a lifestyle, it's a choice. This is how I will continue to eat for the rest of my life. I might have my days where I'm carving up, or I might have my celebration days, but it's our 80%. What are we doing 80% of the time? And that also has to do with mindset. So on those days that you're not being what you consider to be perfect, or you're not on the plan or the program or anything, just remember, hey, the next meal, the next bite, I can get right back on track. And like, just let it go. Like, will it matter in 5 years that you ate that chocolate bar or whatever it was, or that bite of ice cream? And sometimes a bite is all we need. So remind yourself of that too. If you are in a moment where you're like, oh, I shouldn't be, like you're out with friends and they've ordered a plate of sweet potato fries or whatever it is, that tends to be my weakness. I'm just going to have one, like just have a taste. And then you're like, okay, I'm good. So that way you don't feel like you're going into deprivation, because a lot of times what derails us, especially me, is I get really, in the past, I've gotten really, really strict. And then you just get to a place where it's like, I just got to have something. And then you go kind of crazy. And that's basically the old diet paradigm. So that's why we don't want this to feel like a diet. We want this to feel like something you're doing to love yourself. And every time you see a little result, like whether it's losing a pound, or maybe your skin looks clearer, like, oh my God, my skin has cleared up, or you just feel like you look more youthful, or you have more energy, like write that down and celebrate that, so that when you do have a moment of weakness or a moment where you're not on track, like remember all the great things that you did get from eating this way. And it'll just kind of keep coming back to that. And just remembering that we are mind, body, and spirit. We're not just a body that we're feeding. We're feeding it with thoughts, like with things like, what are you putting in front of yourself at night as far as TV? Are you watching like drama that's kind of really negative or bloody? Are you watching the news? I found out recently, I have a girlfriend here in town that loves to watch this comedian newscaster. I forget his name, but he's this British guy. And so I was kind of getting into it with her, and I was watching, and then I suddenly realized I'm getting this download of really negative news, even though it's got a comedic spin. And it was really bumming me out. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not doing that anymore. I already don't read the newspaper or watch the news or like tune into that, because I figure if it's important, someone will tell me. And so like also looking at that, like what are we putting into our mind every day? And really catching, like you said, Caitlin, catch those thoughts that we're saying to ourselves, like, ooh, would I say that to a friend? Ooh, you look beautiful. You look amazing. You are beautiful. Look, you have a body. Like really catching yourself in those moments that you're about to say, I'm to, and turn it into, how grateful am I for this body that works? Yay.
Exactly.
So we want to, is there anything else you want to say before we open it up for questions or comments or anything from people, Kate?
Yeah, I'd like to hear from everyone else. I know that we wanted to focus the last half of the call for people who wanted to speak, and then maybe we can talk about a few things at the end. So if you do have a question or you do want to speak, you can unmute yourself here on the bottom right hand of the screen. And then we'll just get to those. If you don't feel comfortable talking, that's fine. You can type it into the chat, which is also on the bottom of your screen there. It's just a little chat bubble. So, and we have a few questions that came in through email for those of us who couldn't join today. So we'll just get to everyone as we can. And I see we have one person, and her name is User. Why don't you go ahead?
Hi, I'm not User. That is not my name. It's Sarah Grace. And
oh my God!
Hi!
I didn't even recognize you. Hi!
You recognize me now?
I do. Hi!
Well, my question is this. I have a lot of health issues. I live a fairly sedentary life, light yoga and walking. I try to get outside every day. I have a healthy vegan diet, but it's very high carbohydrate. It's been lots of fruits and vegetables, and probably, I mean, certainly fat, nuts and seeds and nut butters and things like that. It's been pretty healthy, but I have major gut issues, and I've been kind of dabbling around with the idea of a vegan keto diet. The concern is that because I live a sedentary life and I have a major issue with constipation, I'm just wondering if the recipes, if I need to alter them so there's less fat in them, just because of my compromised digestion.
I definitely, so that's a great question, Sarah. And the thing that I tell people is the ketogenic diet is designed a certain way where it's like you've got, you know, a certain percentage of carbs, a certain percentage of fat, a certain percentage of protein. And the fat is like up to 120 grams a day, which I found for me, I was really pushing myself on that when I first went keto. Did I get amazing results? Yes, I felt super energized and amazing. I was able to drop some of the hormonal weight I gained from menopause. I had so much energy and creativity, like all those things did happen. But what I noticed is the fat. One morning, I was about to go into the cafe and I just gobbled down a bunch of food with like way too much fat in it, and my whole stomach went, oh. So I really think and then now since then, I've definitely backed off on the fats. We definitely encourage you guys to have as much fat as you want, but at the same time, if it feels like too much, back off, because like you said, like your body knows. And I know, Sarah, you've been doing this for a long time. I mean, I know Sarah from when I first got into raw foods and I was catering, and she'd come over and help me. That was 20 years ago. So I know you've been on this path and you're doing it. And the biggest thing that I found, and I know you probably found too, is experimentation. Try it out, try the keto diet. So what I would say for you is go lower carb, like get rid of a lot of those fruits, because believe it or not, are you eating bananas?
To do that. Yeah, the last probably month, 2 months, I've been not eating much fruit at all.
Okay, because I was going to say fruit can be constipating. It sounds counterintuitive, but bananas I know are very constipating.
Yeah.
And the fruits can also just cause, as we know from history with candida and whatnot, that fruits can cause a rise in blood sugar, which causes an imbalance. And then we get hooked on, we need carbs, we need carbs, we need carbs. So when you cut back on them, I would say the nuts and the nut butters, I know because I've been a raw vegan for so long, that you can get overloaded on too many nuts. So don't feel like you have to go crazy on the nut butters. How do you do with coconut oil?
I've been using that for the last 20 plus years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been my main fat. And I do not go overboard with the nut butters or the nuts and seeds. I'm very careful with that.
Okay. And are you doing digestive enzymes at all?
That's my issue. I have tried so many enzymes and so many probiotics and nothing. It doesn't change anything.
Okay. Okay. So have you, well, I guess I would just say, give it a try. And I know, so this is great that you're asking this, Sarah, because both Sarah and I have been doing like a plant-based diet for a long, long time. And what happens with things that originally make us have loose stools or even like running to the toilet can then, I say what starts out as your water can become your fire. What's your fire can become your water, because what happens is it starts to flip-flop. And so what psyllium used to do for us, or what flax crackers used to do for us, which made you have great bowel movements, can suddenly turn around. I know, Caitlin, you've had experience with this, with chia seeds. It can suddenly start constipating you. So for what I would say for you, Sarah, are you taking a lot of magnesium? Are you taking plenty of?
I have tried that as well for the constipation, and it doesn't do anything. I mean, I have tried every trick in the book, and I have autoimmune, a couple of different autoimmune issues. I know that makes you sluggish. I also know that I've got, unfortunately, parasites and yeast and mold issues. So I know I've got that stuff systemically. I've been working on it for years, and I'm still with it.
Right. Well, I would love for Caitlin to speak up for a minute, because she has been dealing with autoimmune her whole life. But one more thing I want to say is, have you done any liver flushes?
No.
Liver cleanses? Okay, so that's one thing we kind of offer as part of the Love Camp. At the end, we really encourage people to do a liver flush. So you and I should definitely talk about that. It's something I have as an online program, but I'm not trying to like get you to do that one, but just looking into, just start thinking about, put in your consciousness about cleansing your liver, because that's where the digestion stagnates. And that whole right side of our body is where our liver lives. And I just did a liver flush, and lo and behold, my digestion improved again. And every time I do one, I hadn't done one for like a year. Every time I do one, my body kind of thank you. Like it just kind of gets rid of all those stones. So let's definitely talk about a liver flush for you, Sarah, like looking into that. But Caitlin, would you like to address some of the things around autoimmune and constipation? Because I know that's something that you've dealt with as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been basically my whole life up until the last 10 years. And for me, it was definitely the fasting and the detoxes is what really transformed everything. But also the ketogenic low carb. I mean, every time I do go back on sugar or something, that's when the constipation happens. Stress for me, I know plays a major role. So I would say just really try to cut out the fruits and really stick to a program like this or something that suits you. But I know that's basically what keeps my inflammation. I mean, I would wake up in the morning with arthritic pain and everything, even just after eating some sugar. So that's definitely something that has really, really helped me. And like Elaina said, cutting out everything sometimes also really helps. So really getting on like a fasting protocol or something.
And I want to say one thing about fasting protocol, because we will, when we get into the Love Camp, the full one, we encourage, in fact, we really pretty much insist that you fast once a week. And a lot of people who are thin say, oh, I shouldn't fast. But what I'm learning, because I'm really geeking out on fasting and I'm following Dr. Pompa, who I'll be interviewing on my podcast, they talk about that when someone who's needs to gain weight fast, it actually resets their system. So fasting can be a great reset, even if it feels like, oh, I shouldn't fast because I need to gain weight, or it's like I can't do it. Especially if you're sedentary. I don't know, maybe you're already doing it, Sarah, but like some intermittent fasting, even just going 18 hours every day with only water and like shortening your eating window can really be helpful as well. And that's something we'll get more into during January that we'll talk about.
Yeah, and I think we have some more
Great
questions.
response. Thank you so much for your
Yeah, sure. I hope that helped.
And
All
I've
right,
always done vegan, keto, and so I'm willing to try it.
Okay, awesome. Well, keep us posted too.
All righty.
Okay, I'm gonna have Marcia. She raised her hand next.
Okay.
Hi, it's Marcia.
Oh, Marcia.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Elaina from
Hi.
Equinox Gym in San Mateo.
Oh my gosh, I want to like see you. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you. Yay.
So I haven't made so I work with Rita Marie Lascalzo, so I've been vegan for a while again. And I have the worst gut issues, and I'm still 40 pounds overweight. That might be why you don't recognize me, because I'm 10 years older and fatter, a lot heavier. But I was looking at your food plan, which looks delicious for like one meal. You know, like everything you have for Monday looks like, yeah, that's like enough for one meal for me, not 3 meals. It just looks so tiny. And the other thing that I'm dealing with, I haven't had sugar or fruit in probably a year. But I have such bad gut health that last night I was up most of the night with intense gut pain. And at 5 in the morning, I had, what's that called? Bentonite clay. And I still have, and I fast, and I do almost every day. I do 16-8. Sometimes I do 24 of water. And I haven't been able to like deal with this, get rid of this gut issue. I know that's kind of out of context because, you know, I had breast cancer, I've had hepatitis, so and I'm 67. So I have a lot going on. But
girl, you look amazing. I want to just give you a little bit of love. You look beautiful and you look amazing. And I know we're so hard on ourselves.
Oh, thank you.
But the first thing I want to address is the first thing you commented on, which is that the food looks like smaller meals. Did you actually try that smoothie? There's actually a lot of calories in that.
I have not tried the smoothie yet, and I was going to ask you, because I had breast cancer, if that thing that you put in that has the hormones in it would be appropriate for me to use.
Oh, the Hoshiwu?
Yeah, the Hoshiwu thing.
Oh, yeah. All that is it's just one root, and it's basically, look at it as like an anti-aging component, and that is not tied to any kind of hormone imbalancing or thyroid or anything. It's not something that's on the do not consume list.
Okay, great. I didn't know if it had like estrogenic kind of things. Like,
no,
okay, great. I will get it then.
In fact, I don't know if you've heard of something called calcium deglucarate.
I have, yeah.
That's something that both Caitlin and I found really helped get rid of excess estrogen in the liver. And it's something that really helped when I went through menopause, my breasts got like double their size, and that really like shrunk down because of the extra estrogen. So that might be something, if you're already doing it, that's great. So the food actually, it might look like small amounts, but when you make it, it's very satisfying.
Okay.
And if you need to do like a couple, like, so the soup, like the recipe, if you need to like increase it and have a little bit more of it, you want to make sure you're not feeling deprived. You want to feel satisfied while you're eating, especially if you're used to having fasting days. On the days you're eating, feel like you can indulge. So, but the other question I wanted to ask you is, what did you eat last night, or what did you eat yesterday? Is there anything in particular that may have contributed to this gut, waking up with the gut pain?
Yeah, this happens frequently, probably at least 2 nights a week. I wake up and don't get good sleep. So I'm going to start again. I have chronometer gold. So I'm going to start writing everything, my mood, how I feel, what I ate, how much of it I ate, I'm going to start tracking.
Great.
Because I haven't been tracking again for about 2 months.
Did you have any sugar alcohol like erythritol or xylitol?
I did have erythritol.
That's it. That's what caused the gut pain. I intuitively knew as soon as you said that. I don't know why, because it's just came in.
But it doesn't happen all the time. So I made some brownies that have
It could have been the combination.
Because
what I find is I can eat erythritol in small amounts, and I can have it in different combinations. But one time I made an ice cream with erythritol. It was a coconut ice cream, and I had that same wrenching gut pain all night long, which I don't usually get. So maybe for you, the sugar alcohols are not ideal. Maybe you just need to switch over to stevia. So that'll be like your experiment for this week to get rid of sugar alcohols and see if that helps.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for asking a question, and thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I think Donna is next.
Donna Dimples.
Well, hello.
Hello.
I have a question. I'm, as you know, I'm an acupuncturist, and the smoothie, I don't do cold smoothies in the morning. I don't do cold actually because of energetics. Now when I do smoothies in the summer, but not when it's cold. And when I do that, I usually add ginger or cinnamon or something like that to mitigate the cold. Is that something that you think is appropriate?
I think that's honestly, like this time of year, I've changed to, this is my hot water. I get up every morning, and now instead of having cold water at my bedside, I go and boil water and drink that because I know it's so warming. And for my smoothies, I keep my avocados out at room temperature. The almond butter's at room temperature. I don't refrigerate that. Just use either warm or room temperature water. We live in Bend, so it's actually room temperature water is like 60 degrees. Warm it up a little bit because I keep my house cold. But everything, and don't put the ice in, and don't use any frozen items for sure. I mean, I'm all about, even my green juices, I put some warm water in to keep them more of a body temperature. So I think that's really, I'm glad you're bringing that up. And the ginger, like a chunk of ginger in there or a teaspoon of cinnamon is awesome. Yeah.
The other question I have is, the reason I have not gone plant-based keto is because I actually don't do well with nuts because of having herpes. So I have to be super careful which nuts I have because of the arginine lysine complex. So what do you recommend for someone who actually can't do a lot of nuts? And spirulina, for me is very energetically cold again, and I'm deficient. So that's why I've never gone plant-based keto. I do a lot of plant-based foods, but for my protein sources, that's been really the hard part for me.
Okay, well, so I would just switch. Do you have moringa, or do you like moringa?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that could be a switch for spirulina. It's also very high protein, and it's got a different profile than the spirulina does.
Yeah, I have moringa. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the nuts. So are you able to do seeds, or do you kind of?
I am. Yeah, I do have seeds, and I do chia seeds. I do pumpkin seeds. I just don't. I can't do a lot of the walnuts and macadamia. I could do a little bit, but I have to just be very careful because I'll break out. I have outbreaks quite often if I do too many nuts.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would switch back to anything that calls for. Have you ever bought that pumpkin seed butter online? It's so ridiculously delicious. It's like
I used to make it. I used to make pumpkin seed butter.
Yeah, you can make your own. And then there's one by a company called Omega that it's so decadent. It's like bright green, and it's just so delicious. And you can add that anywhere in nut butter. And then you're going to get a lot of zinc from the pumpkin seeds, which is awesome. And you're going to get the healthy omega-6s, because a lot of people get afraid of omega-6s, but nuts and seeds actually have healthy omega-6s. And so it's good to have some of those. And then you can do the sunflower seeds as well. And how about pine nuts? How do you do with them?
I do use pine nuts sparingly, like on salads and stuff like that.
Because I know they carry them at Costco. And pine nuts are a unique profile. They have something called omega-9s, and it's like a GLA, essential fatty acid, which we don't get a lot of. So I'm learning that pine nuts can be super beneficial. So I'm telling people that can't tolerate other nuts, maybe just to try out a little bit of pine nuts. I know they're expensive, but just like you said, a sprinkle of them. And then coconut butter instead of almond butter, like the coconut manna that you can get.
Yeah, I use that a ton.
Okay. And then can you think of anything else, Caitlin, that I'm missing as far as the nuts replacements? Because I know you don't do well with nuts either.
Yeah, I just replace it with other healthy fats like avocado, like especially in smoothies that call for nut butter, I'll use avocado or something.
So do you just double up the avocado then?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not usually afraid to have a whole one in a day or even in a smoothie.
Yeah.
I know that it's going to last me for hours.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Hemp seeds. You mentioned hemp seed, Donna. And hemp seeds are amazing. Like, I just can't say enough good stuff about the omega-3s and the protein. Actually, I use that instead of protein powder a lot because it's just a whole food. And hemp seed oil. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to add any more like fiber into my smoothie, just a tablespoon or two of hemp seed oil could be a really great addition if you don't want to keep doing the coconut. Some of us get sick of coconut. So this is for all of you guys listening. If you get tired of the coconut oil or other things, switch out and do avocado oil or hemp seed oil. Or even, well, flaxseed oil is kind of tricky because you have to make sure you get a really high quality one. But if you do, that could be another good, because it's got so many good omega-3s in it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so glad you joined.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Julie is next. Julie, do you want to ask your question live? No, she's still there.
Couple things. One was the difference between the smoothie that you have in the program, the 3-day program, versus one that you have on your recipe list. There's like a protein powder and a couple other things that are different.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I was just confused that I saw the smoothie recipe in the 3-day keto program.
Yeah.
And then I saw one last night that had other things in it on your recipe list. That's just under recipes on your website. It's the same title to the recipe.
Okay, yeah, some of our recipes overlap. So it was a protein powder you were wondering about?
It had like a scoop of a separate protein powder. And so I thought, oh, that's a lot of protein. And I started just thinking about keto. I thought it maybe that version of the green drink was a different version. It was just unclear. I found some other inconsistencies too. So I was like, I like really good structure. And I'm like, I'm confused. And I was not prepared. So I haven't even made the recipes like each day. So I feel like I'm just like not with it. I need to catch up.
I just need to follow the recipe that you have there for the green smoothie.
Yeah, and it's been great. That one's been awesome. I love it. But the ice, you just mentioned something about cold, and I know like with Chinese medicine, which I follow, they want like warming stuff in the morning and not to do anything cold. But I tried it with the ice, and I liked it with the ice. So I thought, I don't know, is that good? Is that not good?
Follow your body, because like I'm a pitta. I don't know if you know about Ayurveda.
Yeah, I'm a kapha pitta.
Okay, so the pitta energy, we tend to get overheated, and so sometimes ice can be balancing for me if I'm irritated or if I'm just hot. Even in the winter, I get overheated sometimes. So follow your body. I mean, I think Donna had a good point as an acupuncturist that generally we want to keep our foods more warming for the liver. But if it feels good to you, and especially this trial period, just to like, ooh, this is going to make me want to drink more of it and it's going to feel good. Like, if you're not into drinking a warm smoothie, then I would just say do what feels good to you in this moment, and then you can worry about that later.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
Sometimes what I do is I'll have ice in my smoothie and then I'll have a hot tea or hot lemon water beside